Isiah Pacheco, the next name on our list as we move to running backs. He's got the Browns. Jay, it's been a slow return for Pacheco since he's been back. Kareem Hunt's still involved, but the volume did go up in Week 14 where he had 16 touches.
Yeah, and I think the key is that he just looked like himself. Again, he had some vintage, hard Pacheco runs. You expect that the workload is going to ramp up. The issue is that I think Kareem Hunt was too good while he was there, that he's not going to get phased out. Like, we're not going to see 2 carry games for Kareem Hunt like we do Khalil Herbert or whatever, another backup. So I think that Pacheco, I think he becomes much more startable. The Chiefs, they're 4-point favorites in this game. By the way, Chiefs only 4-point favorites against Jameis Winston. Just goes you to so when the Chiefs, they never beat anyone by more than 1 score. They've covered 4 games all year, so people are just sick of betting on the Chiefs to cover. So they are only 4-point favorites, but still there should be favorable game script.
I'm keeping it open as well. Like, what's nice is while it hasn't shown up in the box score in terms of fantasy production, the workload is increasing, to your point, Jay. Like, last week he got 16 of the Chiefs' 24 running back touches. 16 of 24, whereas the week before he'd gotten 50%. 16 of 24, is more than half, right? Because 16 would be half of 32. I'm doing this math live, like right in front of you.
Flashed out at the Christmas party.
I mean, I'm gonna.
Show
like,
off
wait
your
till you
skills.
see. Like, just to understand. Like, that's how I got my wife, by the way, is just doing quick math like that.
Quick basic arithmetic.
The ladies love it. At any rate.
They don't. They actually don't. The ladies just texted me. They don't love it.
Oh, the ladies?
Yeah.
The ladies
The
So
collective ladies.
The polls are in.
The ladies is texting Jay now, not you, Matthew.
Exactly.
I'm a married man. I'm off the market. They know. The ladies, I no longer have the ladies' number because they're like, he's off the market. What are you going to do? All right. The other positive thing about Pacheco is a true 3-down back, right? He's had at least an 11% target share 3 of the 4 games, so they can use him out of the backfield. And it's also a decent matchup against a Cleveland Browns team, Lawrence, that has allowed a rushing touchdown in 6 straight games. He's my running back 21 this week. I'm keeping it open on Isiah Pacheco.
Yeah, and on top of that, and I'll do the same, on top of that, the Browns have allowed either 80 rushing yards or a rushing touchdown to running backs in 3 straight games. You mentioned the 16 touches. What's important here, 4 of those touches were targets out of the backfield receiving. So that's a part of his game that he'll be able to incorporate even more so as he gets more snaps.
Tougher one, Lawrence. Travis Etienne against the Jets, who, he had 8 touches last week. That's his fewest since Week 9. Really hard to predict this Jacksonville backfield right now. And the Jets' run defense went from a giant liability to a more league average unit in recent weeks.
Yeah, speaking of tough, it's only tough if you don't have another option but to start him. But you mentioned the most touches, the least amount of touches, but he had his most yards from scrimmage in a game since Week 3. That's the scary part about the whole situation. And in knowing that Tank Bigsby still having the 18 carries, that scares you a little bit because that lets you know that this could be a game script type of game. So I'm going to close it out on Travis Etienne. He only out-carried Tank Bigsby a couple weeks ago because that was his first game back from the injury. So I'm going to close it out on him.
Yep, no, I agree. What do you think of the Jets' run defense at the moment?
It's been better, and they're also just dedicating more bodies to it feels like. They knew the Seahawks were going to try to run Kenneth Walker at them over and over again. They sold out to that a little bit. They were more competitive against Jonathan Taylor as well. So I think they've just been a better unit as a whole. They're just playing better. There's not a lot of new guys playing. It's the same guys. Quentin Williams has been a monster too. It's kind of taken over.
Yeah, the other concern here is, to everyone's point, like I'm closing it out on Etienne too. I mean, Tank Bigsby, right? He's played 7 full games. Travis Etienne has played 7 full games with Tank Bigsby. He's averaging under 9 fantasy points per game, under 12 touches a game in those games. It is a true running back by committee. Here, since week 4, Travis Etienne has count them, 1 game with more than 60 yards from scrimmage. Like he's just, he's just not getting a ton of usage. The offense looks like a mess under Mac Jones. To your point, Jay and Connor, like the Jets' run defense has played a lot better. He's my running back 30. I suppose there's a chance that the Jets' offense, in a good matchup against the Jaguars, they get it big, and suddenly Etienne, who they're using more in the passing work, suddenly becomes like a PPR merchant in a comeback script for Mac Jones and the Jaguars. That's kind of a narrow needle to thread, as it were, in a playoff week. If I'm going to lose in the playoffs, I don't want it to be because I started Travis Etienne. Just,
It's a better way to go down.
It's a better way to go out swinging.
Right, exactly. Like
Rise and fight.
Yeah.
If you start
Yes, like Sir
Isiah
Andrew Barton.
Pacheco and he doesn't work out, you're like, well, what am I going to do? I started, a guy that I drafted in the first round who's a starting running back of the Kansas City Chiefs, and just a bad day at the office. What are you going to do? But if you're like,
To
if
be
you
fair,
lose,
people like me probably drafted Travis Etienne in like the 3rd round.
I know, but he
Doesn't
hasn't
work
provided
out.
production
No.
all year long. He's been mad. I mean,
Right.
it's been a bust for the entire Jaguar season. It's just been completely blown up.
I might be benching him for Patrick Taylor tomorrow night. We'll get to it.
Ain't
Patrick
Ain't
Taylor
nobody gonna
discussion.
argue.
Yeah.
I get
grim.
that.
It's
If
grim.
Garendo's out, I totally get that.
Bad choice.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.